However, कौन कौन मोर ऑनलाइन क्लास रे अछि कौन ମୁଁ କଲ୍ କରିବି ହେଲା ଦୁଇଟା ବେଳେ କଲ୍ କରିବ ତ ଓକେ good morning. Let's start the daily current affair discussion. The very first topic that we are taking today for discussion, the ethanol petrol blending program. India's ethanol production program has seen significant progress in the last 5 years. Quantity supplied by sugar mills, distillery to oil marketing companies have increased substantially. The program has diversified its own material source from cane-based molasses, sugarcane molasses to juice to rice, damaged grains, maize, and millets. What is this ethanol and its blending? Ethanol is a high purity alcohol that can be blended with petrol for fuel purposes. It differs from rectified spirit used in industry and extra neutral alcohol for portable liquor. Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that India has achieved 20% ethanol blending petrol and aims for nationwide coverage by 2025. This move is part of India's effort to promote ethanol as an eco-friendly and renewable fuel. And ethanol blending will has been advocated by the government with two intentions. First is to reduce our import of the imported petroleum as well as to go for a environmental sustainable. Okay, and India is able to achieve the target, okay, of ethanol blending as it has been targeted that 20% blending by 2025. Ethanol production: sugar mills traditionally produce ethanol from the C-heavy molasses containing around 40 to 45% of sugar. Mill can optimize sugar extraction to produce ethanol from B-heavy molasses 50% plus sugar, or ferment the entire cane's fermentation sugar into ethanol. They have the option. Either go for sugar production, even can go for the entire sugar cane for ethanol production. Diversification of the feedstocks: ethanol supplies have surged from 38 crore liter in 2013-14 to estimated 559 crore liters in 23-24. So see nearly 200 times growth in ethanol production in the country. Feedstock have diversified, including B heavy molasses, direct sugarcane juice, rice, maize, and other food grains. Okay, ethanol yield from the grains. Ethanol yields from grain are higher than from molasses. Rice 450 to 480 liters per ton. Broken damaged grains 450 to 460 tons. Maize 380 to 4 liters per ton. Jawar 385 to 400 liters per ton, and millets 365 to 380 liters per ton contribute to higher ethanol production. So the ethanol produced from these products is more valuable than that particular product being used as a food grain or food crop. So that is why farmers are diversifying their food grains to ethanol production. Challenges in the grain ethanol production. Ethanol production from grain involves a longer process of converting starch into sucrose and simpler sugar before fermentation. Molasses already contain sugar and are more straightforward to convert into ethanol. Year-round production with multiple feedstocks. Leading sugar company have installed distilleries that can operate on multiple feedstock, enabling year-round production. This flexibility ensures a consistent ethanol supply throughout the year. Differential pricing policy. The government's policy of differential pricing incentivizes the use of various feedstocks by fixing higher prices for ethanol produced from B-heavy molasses and sugarcane juice and syrup. This compensate mills for reduced sugar production. Fine. So the sugar price is not increasing in the international market, but government's promotion of ethanol is encouraging the farmers and the sugar mills to produce that ethanol, than going for that using that Okay, so this is where the promotion of the government for ethanol is encouraging farmers to go more for that farmers as well as the ethanol producers, especially sugarcane, sugar mills, and other ethanol plants to produce more ethanol because it is more uh, beneficial or more economically gainful than producing or increasing the or selling the food stock. Okay. Ethanol production from grain includes a longer process of converting starch into sucrose and simpler sugar before fermentation. Then differential pricing policy. The government's policy of differential pricing instead by the use of various feedstocks like fixing higher prices for ethanol produced from B-heavy molasses and sugarcane juice syrup. The compensate mills for reduced sugar production. Boost ethanol blending. The policy boost has resulted in a significant increase in the ethanol blending with petrol reaching 11.7% in 2023 compared to 1.6% in 2013-14. So right now 11.75% ethanol are being blended in the that petrol with the petrol. Fine. So still the target of 20% blending has not been achieved, and government focus on how to reach this 20% blending achievement by 2025. A new demand for grains. The incorporation of new feedstock can create additional demand for grains like rice, barley, and millets. States like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, known for sugarcane and maize respectively, can contribute to fueling India's with ethanol. Byproduct benefits. Molasses-based distilleries have multi-effect evaporator units that help in treating liquid effluents or spent was. The concentrated was okay. Okay, the concentrated was can be used as a boiler fuel, and the ash contain potash suitable for fertilizer. Okay, so grain distilleries produce distilled dried grain with solubles available animal feed products. Okay, biofuel definition. Biofuel are renewable fuel derived from the organic materials such as plants and animal waste rather than fossil fuel like coal, oil, and natural gas. And as a measure for going green, government is promoting use of biofuels more and more. They are considered a greener alternative to conventional fuels because they reduce greenhouse gas emissions and promote sustainability. Purpose. The main purpose of biofuels is to provide a cleaner and more sustainable source of energy to replace fossil fuels, which contribute significantly to climate change and environmental degradation. Biofuels also aim to reduce the dependence on imported oil and enhance energy security. Types of biofuels. Ethanol produced from fermenting sugar and starches found in crops like corn, sugarcane, and wheat. Biodiesel made from vegetable oil, animal fats, recycled cooking. Okay, so biogas generated from the anaerobic. Okay, so then from the anaerobic decomposition of organic matter such as the agricultural waste, sewage, and landfill gas. Bioethanol, bioethanol derived from cellulose biomass such as food, grasses, and agricultural residues using advanced technology. This is the use of other types of biofuels which has been promoted not only in India but around the world. Because biofuel government is promoting it as an eco-friendly fuel, and to maintain the environmental sustainability, so government has been promoting the use of biofuels. Then ethanol blending meaning. Ethanol blending refers to the practice of mixing. Okay, so the most common blend is E10, which contain 10% ethanol and 90% gasoline. Okay, so 10% ethanol and 90% gasoline. Blends like the E15, 15% ethanol, E85, 85% ethanol are etc. used in certain regions depending in the suitability of vehicle engines, because using the vehicle engine is most important, because only adding ethanol is not enough. Okay, and when it is blended with ethanol, so that is has two advantage. So one is it will be environment friendly, and second is it will be reducing the dependence on fossil fuel. Then different generation of biofuels. Okay, how it is done, ethanol blending is okay. So then coming to different generation of biofuels, first generation biofuels. So the derived from food crops such as sugarcane, corn, soybeans and vegetable oils. The first generation uh, fuels, biofuels are derived from sugarcane, corn, okay, sugarcane, corn, soybean and vegetable oil. Widely used and easily available. They are widely used. Okay, so the second generation biofuel produced from non-food feedstock like agriculture residues, woody biomass, and waste materials. address concerned about food consumption and offer more sustainable options. Example: cellulose ethanol, biobutanol, and biofuel from algae. Third generation biofuels focus on using microorganisms and algae to convert sunlight into biofuel through photosynthesis. Highly effective in terms of land use and resource utilization. Example: algal biofuels and cyanobacterial biofuels are the example of the third generation biofuels. Okay, fourth generation biofuels utilize advanced technology to engineer microorganisms for biofuel production. Aim for higher yields and cost effectiveness compared to previous generations. Example: synthetic biology based biofuels and genetically engineered biofuels. Ethanol blending petrol program. So then the implementation scope, the ethanol blending program, that petrol program is implemented across India except in the Union Territory of Andaman, Nicobar and Lakshadweep Island. Oil marketing companies sell petrol blended with 10% ethanol to promote eco-friendly and renewable fuel. Government intervention for increased ethanol production. Since 2014, the government has taken multiple measures to boost indigenous ethanol production in the country. These interventions include reintroduction, introducing the administered price mechanism, opening alternative routes for ethanol production, amending the Industry Development and Regulation Act for smooth ethanol movement, reducing GST ethanol for the EBP ethanol blending program with petrol. EBP stands for ethanol blending with petrol program, differential pricing based on raw materials, extending that ethanol blending petroleum nationwide and interest subvention scheme. Okay, expanded raw material for ethanol production. In 2018-19, the for ethanol production, including B-heavy molasses, sugarcane juice, sugar syrup, and damaged food grades, unfit for human consumption, like wheat and rice. Different ex-mill price of ethanol were fixed based on the raw material used. Increase in ethanol procurement. The government's action led to significant increase in ethanol procurement by the public sector undertakings or oil marketing companies. Ethanol procurement increased from 38 crore liter in 2013-14 to 188.6 crore liter in 2013-14 to 188.6 crore liter in 2018-19, achieving an average blend percentage of 5% by the year 2018-2019, and right now it is nearly 12%. Addressing the ethanol distillery capacity constraint. To achieve the target of 20% by 2030, the government identified a constraint in the available ethanol distillery capacity. The Department of Food and Public Distribution introduced a scheme to extend financial assistance to sugar mill for enhancing and augmenting ethanol production capacity. Long-term ethanol procurement policy. The Minister of Petroleum and Natural Gas issued a long-term ethanol procurement policy under the ethanol blending of petrol program on 11th October 2019 to provide a strategic roadmap for achieving higher ethanol blending in petrol. So, Government of India, as its commitment towards the Paris Climate Agreement, the national determined okay, uh, contribution, as well as the clean fuel mechanism, is promoting the ethanol production as well as ethanol blending. So ethanol production is being done to incentivizing the sugar mills and other ethanol producers, and So this is what the government's program on ethanol blending in the country. The next topic is the global report on the food crisis. So the global report on food crisis was recently released about the global report on food crisis. The global report on food crisis produced by the Food Security Information Network in support of the global network against the food crisis. It makes the assessment of the acute food security in countries. The report said the global context preceding and during the year under assessment, particularly paying attention to the increasing phenomena of urbanization and its effects on food security. Key highlights of the report: global crisis and attainment of the SDG. This year's report records the historic moment that had an impact on the assessment, a pandemic and ensuing economic crisis, a war, soaring prices of food and agricultural inputs. The global report starts with a qualified assertion that hunger is no longer on an alarming path upward at the global level, but still far above a pre-COVID pandemic level, and that the world is far off track towards achieving sustainable development goal 2, that is called the zero hunger. Because after poverty, next come hunger in the SDG goal. Okay. No progress for 2022. The new estimate of food insecurity experience scale, as per the report, confirmed that for 2022, no progress was made on food insecurity at the global level. Following a sharp increase from 2019 to 2020, the global prevalence of the moderate or severe food insecurity remain unchanged for the second year in a row, but remain far above pre-COVID-19 pandemic level. In 2022, an estimated 2.4 billion people did not have access to adequate food. This is still 319 million more people than in 2019. Undernourishment, global hunger, measured by yet another metric. The prevalence of undernourishment remained relatively unchanged from 2021 to 2022, but is again far above the pre-COVID-19 pandemic level, affecting around 9.2% of the world population in 2022, compared with 7.9% in 2019, according to the report. Intake of healthy diet. The revised analysis presented this year's report show that almost 3.2 billion people worldwide could not afford a healthy diet in 2020, with a slight improvement in 2021. Okay, the cost of a healthy diet increased globally by 6.7% between 2019 and 2021. It also projects that almost 600 million people will be chronically undernourished in 2030. Stunting, wasting, and obesity. Some good news is that stunting, another key metric defined as the condition of being too short for one's age among children under 5 years of age, has declined steadily from 204.2 million in 2000 to 148.1 million in 2022. Within that 22 years, so there is substantial decline in the stunting. Simultaneously, child wasting caused by insufficient nutrient intake or absorption declined from 54.1 million to 45 million in 2022. In terms of children who are overweight or obese, the study indicates non-significant increase from 5.3% or 33 million to 5.6%, 37 million in 2022. Means obesity among children is also increased, but with very insignificant level or insignificant number in comparison to the stunting and the wasting. Okay. Then what is food security? Food security defined from World Food Summit 1996. Thus, when all people at all times have physical and economic access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food that meets their dietary needs and food preferences for an active and healthy life. The prevalence of moderate or severe food insecurity in the population is based on the food insecurity experience scale. Key drivers of food insecurity. The report notes the following regions as being slowing down thanks to lockdown, economic downturn, and other pandemic-related disruptions in 2020 that led to job losses and reduced income of many people. The Ukraine war, governmental policies that have not been entirely favorable, and increasing urbanization that drives changes through the agri-food system. So these are the result of this that are the major reasons for the food insecurity. reports comparison of food insecurity among rural, semi-urban, and urban population reveals that global food insecurity is lower in urban areas than in the rural area. That means insecurity is more in the rural area than in the urban area, because the rural people being severely under poverty, they are unable to access the minimum food required. Fine. That is why food insecurity is more in the rural area than in the urban area. Okay, so sound nutrition. Okay, identifying vulnerability. The report help identify vulnerable population group, contributing to evidence to inform decision making and effective action through the appropriate targeting and design of the policy and programs. Sound nutrition, as the authors record, sound nutrition is okay. So, sound nutrition is fundamental to the achievement of the Sustainable Development Goal and must be central to government policy, and supported by civil society and the private sector. Supporting healthier food outlets. Some of the recommendations including supporting healthier food outlets. Okay, as key for enabling access to healthy diets. Policy incentive are necessary to encourage shops to sell greater amount of fresh and minimally processed foods. Okay, then nutritional safety and quality of street foods. Another key input is on street food, which an estimated 2.5 billion worldwide consume every day, thanks to the convenience and the cost factor. The street foods are convenient to get, and also so it is available easier in the world. They take street food every day. Okay, this shows the importance of the people and in the hunger index. The report called for addressing multiple infrastructure and regulatory gap to improve nutritionally safe and quality of street food. The street food, although 2.5 billion people take it, but its nutritional value and its food standards are to be regularly monitored. Improving investment and infrastructure. The report also suggests building rural infrastructure, including quality rural and feeder roads to connect remote farm and enterprise to the main road network. Okay. Other public investment to support linkage between the mainly small farms and small and medium enterprises could include warehousing, cold storage, dependable electrification, access to digital tools, and the water supply. Okay. So then deprivation of women rights, non-implementable law enacted to provide protection to women, concern over functioning women commission, and steps need to be taken to bring reforms. A serious issue that has bothered many of us is whether women commissions at the national and state level have become toothless tigers merely pushing paper around. Member and staff in different commissions of the country seem busy more in paperwork, falling to prioritize field visit over files. Therefore, member of Human Rights and Women Commission need to get a sense of reality in order to empathize with the suffering of citizens. Another grave issue is the political appointments in the commission. Since they are nominated by the political party in power, most of the commissions are area of even minor criticism of the government, and they are sometimes over enthusiastic, like taking up states ruled by the opposition, irrespective of the party in power. This has become the culture of the nation. Therefore, individuals who are genuinely interested and capable could have been selected by the committee, members of the opposition, judges from the Supreme Court, civil society organizations, and the ruling party can form a selection committee to select the member to the commission, because the commission's members are appointed more on the on political party line. Most of the time, the political party functionaries, so they are appointed as the chairman or member of the commission, and that hampers their real commission. By competent external agency can on a regular basis could give citizen a idea of their actual working. As a taxpayer has a right to find out whether the money she is paying is being used properly or half-heartedly or being squandered altogether. Conclusion: therefore, it is time for members of the Women Commission to prioritize field works, and along with it, political neutral persons should be appointed at the post of software defined radio tactical SDR tech. In context, Indian Navy has begun equipping its warship with the Made in India software defined radio. About the software defined radio, SDR is a radio communication system that employ configurable software based components for the processing and conversion of digital signals. Unlike traditional radio communication system, these radio devices are highly flexible and versatile. This is an emerging technology used to connect ever increasing wireless world. About software defined radio tacticals, equipped with several multimedia capability, the indigenous SDR tech provides real time voice, data, and video information. It is built indigenously by the Navy's weapons and electronic system engineering establishment. What does this do? The SDR truck is a 4-channel multi-mode, multi-brand 19-inch truck mountable, rack-mountable ship-borne software-defined radio system. It is intended to serve ship-to-ship, ship-to-shore, and ship-to-air voice data communications for network-centric operation. It supports the simultaneous operation of all four channels covering UFH, and L band. The SDR system houses multiple types of wavefront for narrow band and wide band applications. Fine. Each chip will act as a relay wherein the data can jump from one chip to another. So transfer voice data or video and link device pick up the best suited available network. It ensures that data reaches its destinations. Okay, so this is an advanced version of communication to be used by the Indian Navy and developed indigenously by the Indian Navy. Fine. Okay, so PSLV C6556 recently Indian Space Organization announced that the launch of the PSLV C6056 carrying Singapore's DSSAR satellite will take place on July 30th. For the PSLV C6056, the PSLV C56 carrying DSSAR satellite along with the six co-passenger will be launched from the Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota. It is a configuration in its core alone model similar to that of the C55. It could launch SDR SAR, a 360 kg satellite, into the near equatorial orbit at 5-degree inclination and 535-kilometer altitude. But this DSSR satellite is developed under the partnership between the DSTA, representing Government of Singapore, and the Science and Technology Engineering. We used to support the satellite imagery requirement of various agencies within the Government of Singapore. This is a tailor-made satellite to be launched by Singapore for its specific use. The science ST engineering will use it for multimodal and higher responsive imagery and geospatial services for the commercial customers. It carries a synthetic aperture radar payload developed by the Israeli aerospace industries. It allows the DSSAR to provide for all weather day and night coverage and is capable of imaging a 1 meter resolution at full polarimetry. Along with the DSSAR, the PSL will carry the Velox AM, a 23 kg technology demonstrator microsatellite, accurate atmospheric coupling and dynamic explorer and experimental satellite, SOAP 2, a 3U nanosatellite flying a technology demonstrator payload, that the Nulon, an advanced 3U nanosatellite enabling seamless IoT connectivity in both urban and remote locations. Then the Galaxia 2 and 3U nanosatellite that will be orbiting at low Earth orbit. The ORP-12 Spider satellite is developed under the international collaboration. These all will be the co-passengers of the satellite of the Singapore, which will launch by ISRO using its PSLV C56. Then the INS Kirpan decommissioned from Indian Navy, handed over to the Vietnam. About INS Kirpan is a Kukri class poverty. It was recently decommissioned and handed over to Vietnam People's Navy. It is the first active warship that India has ever gifted to another country. Their indigenously built massive poverty, and Government of India decided to donate it to Vietnam in a friendly gesture. The cannabis medicine project. Jammu is said to lead India's first cannabis medicine project. It is a collaboration between the ICR, IIM Jammu and Canadian firm under the PPP. Atmanirbhar Bharat, after getting all the approvals, the project will be able to produce export quality drug meant for different kinds of neuropathic and diabetic pains. Reduce import burden. It has the potential to reduce the those kinds of medicines which have to be imported from foreign countries. Development of Jammu Kashmir. This kind of project will give an impetus for the huge investment in the state. See, Jammu Kashmir and Punjab are affected by drug abuse. This kind of project will spread awareness among the people. About the cannabis also called the marijuana is a psychoactive drug from the cannabis plant and has been used for recreational and medical purpose for centuries. In India, while trade and consumption of cannabis is banned under the Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Act (NDPS) Act 1985 calls for legalizing. Its use in medical purpose have grown stronger over the years. Cannabis is not completely prohibited in the country as its medical and scientific use is allowed after obtaining necessary permission from state government. Cannabis-based medical treatment utilize compounds like the THC and the CBD to manage conditions like chronic pain, nausea, muscle spasm, and epilepsy, interacting with the body's endocannabinoid system. Okay. Then come to the question. Indian society is more methodical than rational. In the light of the statement, assess Indian society on the scale of rationality and scientific temper. Indian society is more emotional, reactionary, and tolerant due to its socio-cultural background. In any event, in marriage or celebration, we tend to express our emotions in overwhelming way. Nowadays, however, whenever any big event or development happens, people immediately give their response on social media. This has acted as obstacle for rational thinking and has promoted many social evils. The Indian society. Okay, so this has acted as obstacle for rational thinking and has promoted many social evils. The Indian society has many social evils such as superstitions, dowry practices, domestic violence for women, religious obscurantism. These practices are deeply rooted in our society. Though with time, many social reforms such as the Raja Raman Roy and the rationalist in recent times, such as Narendra Davolkar and the Kalaburgi has tried to promote scientific temperament in our society. Due to socio-cultural factors, being tolerant is one such cause of corruption. Society is tolerant because of sub-nature. It is tolerant to both good things and bad things. It comes from belief in religion. There is no sense of rejection against bad practices. India is one major country which did not experience evolution. A scientific temper refers to an open, question seeking mind, a mind that seeks truth and accept it when proven, a mind that is ready to consider that an alternative viewpoint could have merit, a mind that is curious to understand the way and the whys and hows of life while accepting that all questions may not be fully answerable. The defining characteristics of a scientific mindset are curiosity, a logical ability, objectivity, criticality, emphasis on empirical evidence, open-mindedness, the ability to discern fact from hypothesis, ability to recognize self-limitation, and an interest in new development. Okay, so scientific temperament involves many parameters. It is characterized by heavy skepticism, universalism, freedom from prejudice or biased, objectivity, open-mindedness, and humility, willingness to suspend judgment without sufficient evidence, rationality, perseverance, and last but not the least, a positive approach to failure. The landmark of all decision making by a person with scientific temper is logic, rationality, and verifiability. Without logical thinking, without rationality, and without proper verification, the person having scientific member never accept anything. Every person has the constitutional fundamental duty to practice scientific temper and rationality. Role of educational institutions like the schools and colleges and civil servants became important in inculcation of inculcation of scientific temper among the children and common people in the country. Fine. This is what is the need of the hour. Then moving to the questions. The Global Report on Food Crisis 2023 was recently released, produced by which of the following? Food Security Information Network. Question option A is the right answer. Food Security Information Network publishes the Global Report on Food Crisis. Consider the following statement with reference to the National Commission for Women. It is a statutory body which was set up under the National Commission for Women Act 1990. Right? The chairperson of National Commission for Women is nominated by the central government. That is also right. And the commission must include at least one member from amongst persons belonging to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribe respectively. All the three are correct. And for the information, so the first chairperson is Jayanti Patnaik from Odisha. Okay. One of the following statement with respect to the PM WANI scheme. The scheme is launched by the Department of Telecommunication to increase Wi-Fi access throughout the country. So that is right. Under the scheme, public Wi-Fi network will be set up by the public data office aggregators to provide public Wi-Fi service to the public. There is no license fee for providing broadband internet through this public Wi-Fi network. All the three are correct. Reference to the India-Sri Lanka Economic Partnership Vision Document, consider the following statement. So, question number 4. So, it aims to strengthen bilateral economic partnership between India and Sri Lanka. Combating terrorism is one of the pillars of the document. Both countries have decided to designate Indian rupee as currency for trade settlement between the two countries. So, two are correct. 1 and 2, 3 is incorrect. That's the following statement regarding the software and ship to air voice data communication for network centric operations. 2 is correct and 1 is incorrect because it is not developed by DRDO but developed by Indian Navy. Then consider the following statement regarding the cannabis research project of CSR IIM Jammu. Okay, it is the first of its kind in India, initiated for the Minister of Health and Family Welfare. So that is incorrect. It will be it will be able to produce export quality drug mean for different kinds of neuropathies and diabetic pains. So 2 is correct, but 1 is incorrect. Long March 10 rocket is new rocket developed by it is a rocket developed by China. What's the following statement regarding the World Drowning Prevention Day? It is observed on 24 July every year. Correct. So, theme of the day is anyone can drown, no one should. So, both are correct. Curry Ishad mango. It is grown in Karnataka. And the following statement about the Raigal Fort. This hill fort is situated in the Sahyadri mountain range. Okay, so it is also known as the capital of the South. Right, in 1956, Chhatrapati Shivaji captured it from the More of the Jalbi, who were under the suzerainty of the Odisha. So naturally, two are correct. Okay, so thank you for watching. Keep watching.